Toastmaster of the evening. Carrie, take it away.
Good evening, everyone. How are you doing tonight? Thank you so much for joining the meeting. Today is December 6th. Let's start it. Okay. Our meeting consists of 3 sections. First section is prepare speech. We have pocket speech. Do we have a second speaker tonight? Just one pocket speech. Okay. But anyway, we have a one pocket speech. Yay. And the second portion of this meeting is table topics. Everybody join this exciting portion of this meeting. And the last part is evaluation. So let's start each role of this meeting. Timer. Donovan, please.
Hello, everyone. Again, my role for tonight's meeting is the timer. Those 3 sections that I will time will be 5 minutes for the full speaker, which will be last tonight. Be 5 minutes, then 6 minutes, and then 7 minutes. My creative way of doing this tonight is photos. At 5 minutes would be the screen photo. At 6 minutes would be this yellow notebook. And at 7 minutes would be this red photo. And for the table topics portion, one of it would be green. 1 minute and 40 seconds would be yellow. And of course, the 2 minute mark will be this red. And then for the third section, which will be the evaluation portion, will be 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and 3 minutes. It's the same thing, all 3 portions. Green for 2, yellow for 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and this red photo will be at 3 minutes. And if you go over, I'll do this. Thank you. Back to Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Donovan. Let's move on to the
Wes has his hand up, Carrie.
okay.
Madam President, Madam Toastmaster, a point of clarification. My email earlier about my presentation, it is one that is actually read, and it's an 8 to 10 minute speech. So I would recommend the green at 8, the yellow at 9, and the red at 10 for the speech portion.
Thank you very much for that, Wes. Donovan, did you get those adjustments? Okay, Carrie, back to you. Oh,
Okay,
Wes, you had
thank you,
something
Wes.
else?
No, I'm just trying to get back to the meeting.
Yeah, it's gone.
I took it down.
It's gone. Okay, thank you. Let's move on to I just said that our counter and the grammarian. Davy, please explain your roles.
Good evening, everyone. I am your all counter for this evening, and as all counter, I will be looking for filler words. Those are words such as or you know, or it can also be so or and if they're used just to fill in the silence. So it's important to try to avoid the use of filler words because it can distract from communication. I think it's good not to be too obsessive about it. I mean, if one slips in here or there, that's fine, but an excessive use of them is where it really gets to be an issue. So I'll be doing that. In addition to all counter, I will also be the grammarian for this evening. As grammarian, I'll be looking for improper use of the English language. And we're not terribly strict on that, but just anything obvious or anything that I catch, I'll mention. And also, as grammarian, I will reveal the word of the day, which I just posted again in chat. The word of the day is levity. It is a noun, and you can see in chat the definition is humor or frivolity, especially the treatment of a serious matter with humor or in a manner lacking due respect. And as an example, it says, as an attempt to introduce a note of levity, the words were a disastrous flop. So that is the word for the day, and that is my role as grammarian and all counter. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, David. Next table topic master, Maurice.
All right, thank you, Toastmaster, Madam Toastmaster. As the table topics master, I will be picking subjects for impromptu speech, 1 to 2 minutes. And I think I have a few, and I guess to follow the theme of this month. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Maurice. General evaluator is Olivier, I believe.
That's me. Good evening, everyone. Today, my role as general evaluator will consist of me just giving a brief synopsis of the meeting, how the meeting flows. And I will also, during the evaluation portion, not to show any levity or lack of respect, I will patiently wait for all of the other roles or the persons who have roles to give their reports. And then at the end, I will give a final report for the evening. And Maurice, just to keep up with I know you were thinking about the theme. And when I put that theme together, 'Tis the season, as the song says, to be jolly. And I kind of wanted for others that wanted to tell what does this season mean for you. 'Tis the season to be, and then I'll let you guys fill in the blanks. That was the thought process of the theme for tonight. Back to you, table topics master Carrie.
Thank you, Olivia, general evaluator tonight. Let's start the first portion of this meeting, prepare speech, our pocket speech. Very exciting. Are you ready, Wes? You unmute. Wes, you put on mute.
There we go.
Okay, Mr. Wes Hillstrom.
Before I begin the speech, I'll begin the speech with Madam Toastmaster, but before I begin, I'd like to give a little background of it. Now, of course, 'tis the season during the Christmas holidays and the holiday season. We think of it as a time of levity, but it's also a time of inspiration. And inspiration can come in a variety of forms, actually. Now, the presentation I'm going to be given is actually a letter that was written many years ago. During the 1960s, a news broadcaster by the name of Lee Allen wanted to have something to do for a Christmas program. And the letter was given to him by a priest. A copy of the letter was given to him by a priest. The letter was sent by a young soldier, a young Marine on a Korean battlefield to his mother of an experience that he had during a particular battlefield engagement. It's quite interesting. Now, the Marine lived, if he's still living, lives in Indiana, or lived in Indiana. He was interviewed after the letter was written and became widely known. The sergeant was interviewed, the men on the patrol were interviewed, and their statements were all consistent with the facts as presented in the letter. So I will begin. Oh, by the way, this you can listen to this letter. You can listen to Lee Allen's presentation. He was the former Detroit broadcaster. You can listen to his presentation of the letter on YouTube. Just look for Letter from Michael, narrated by Lee Allen. So with that, Madam Toastmaster. Dear Mom, I wouldn't write this letter to anyone but you because no one else would believe it. Maybe even you would find it hard to believe, but I got to tell somebody. First off, I'm in a hospital. Now, don't worry, you hear? Don't worry. I was wounded, but I'm okay. You understand? I'm okay. The doctor says I'll be up and around in about a month. That's not what I wanted to tell you, Mom. Remember when I joined the Marines last year? Remember when I left, you told me to say a prayer to St. Michael every day? You really didn't have to tell me that. Ever since I remember, you always told me to pray to St. Michael, the Archangel. You even named me after him. Well, I will always have. When I got to Korea, I prayed even harder. Remember the prayer that you taught me? Michael, Michael of the morning, fresh cord of heaven adorning. You know the rest of it. Well, I did every day. Sometimes when I was marching, sometimes when resting, but always before I went to sleep. I even got some of the other fellows to say it. One day I was with an advanced detail way forward of the front lines. We were scouting for the commies. I was plodding along in the bitter cold. My breath was like cigar smoke. I thought I knew every guy in the patrol when alongside of me comes another Marine I never saw before. He was bigger than any Marine I ever saw. He must have been 6'4" and built in proportion. It gave me a feeling of security to have such a buddy near. Anyway, there we were trudging along. The rest of the patrol spread out. Just to start a conversation, I said, "Cold, ain't it?" Then I laughed. There I was with a good chance of getting killed any minute, and I'm talking about the weather. My companions seemed to understand. I heard him laugh softly. I looked at him. I've never seen you before. I thought I knew every man in the outfit. I just joined the last minute, he replied. The name is Michael. Is that so? I was so surprised. That's my name too. I know, he said, and went on, Michael, Michael of the morning. I was too amazed to say anything for a minute. How did he know my name and a prayer that you had taught me? Then I smiled to myself. Every guy in the outfit knew about me. Hadn't I taught the prayer to anyone who would listen? By now and then, they even referred to me as St. Michael. Neither of us spoke for a time, and then he broke the silence. We're going to have some trouble up ahead. He must have been in fine physical shape, for he was breathing so lightly that I couldn't see his breath. Mine poured out in great clouds. There was no smile on his face now. Trouble ahead, I thought to myself. Well, the commies all around us, that's no great revelation. Snow began to fall in thick globs. In a brief moment, the whole countryside was blotted out. Then, when we were marching in a white fog of sticky particles, my companion disappeared. Michael! I shouted in sudden alarm. I felt his hand on my arm. His voice was rich and strong. This will stop shortly. His prophecy proved to be correct. In a few minutes, the snow stopped as abruptly as it had begun. The sun was a hard, shining disk. I looked back for the rest of the patrol. There was no one in sight. We lost him in that heavy fall of snow. Then I looked ahead as we came up to a little rise. Mom, my heart stopped. There were 7 of them. 7 commies in their padded pants, jackets, and funny hats. Only there wasn't any funny about them now. 7 rifles were aimed at us. Down, Michael, I shouted in sudden alarm and hit the frozen earth. I heard those rifles almost fire as one. I heard the bullets. There was Michael still standing. Mom, those guys couldn't have missed, not at that range. I expected to see him literally blown to bits, but there he stood, making no effort to fire himself. He was paralyzed with fear. It happens, Mom, even to the bravest. He was like a bird, fascinated by a snake. At least that's what I thought then. I jumped up to pull him down, and that's when I got mine. I felt a sudden flame in my chest. I often wonder what it was like to be hit. Now I know. I remember feeling strong arms around me, arms that laid me ever so gently on a pillow of snow. I opened my eyes for one last look. I was dying. Maybe I was even dead. I remember thinking, well, this is not so bad. Maybe I was looking into the sun. Maybe I was in shock. But it seemed like I saw Michael standing erect again, only this time his face was shining with a terrible splendor. As I say, it might have been the sun in my eyes, but he seemed to change as I watched him. He grew bigger, his arms stretched out wide, and in his hand was a sword that flashed with a million lights. Well, that was the last thing I remembered until the rest of the fellows came and found me. I do not know how much time had passed. Now and then, I had but a moment's rest from the pain and fever. I remember telling him of the enemy just ahead. Where's Michael? I asked. I saw them look at one another. Where's who? Asked one. Michael, that big Marine I was walking with just before the snow squall hit us. Kid, said the sergeant, you weren't walking with anyone. I had my eyes on you the whole time. You were getting too far out when I was going to call you in just before you disappeared in the snow. He looked at me curiously. How did you do it, kid? How did I do what? I asked, half angry despite my wound. This Marine named Michael and I were just, son, said the car sergeant kindly. There isn't another Michael in this outfit. I picked this outfit myself. You're the only Mike in it. Just how did you do it, kid? We heard shots. There hasn't been a shot fired from your rifle. And there hasn't been a lead in them 7 bodies over the hill there. I didn't say anything. What could I say? I could only look open-mouthed with amazement. It was then that the sergeant spoke again. Kid, he said gently, every one of those 7 commies was killed by a sword stroke. That's all I can tell you, Mom. It may have been the sun in my eyes, it may have been the cold or the pain, but that's what happened. Love, Michael. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Wes. First, I'd like to share 2 things. First is, I really like your background. Every time I see your speech, I really like your background. It's plain and it's not too bright white either. It's off-white, and it's kind of comfortable to look at your screen, and it makes me focus on you only because the plain background. Second thing is, your speech is much more, how could I say, deeper than I thought. It's more serious. And that's so interesting in the very last part. And yeah, right, I will say just deeper than I thought. Thank you so much. I enjoy it. It's very fast, 9 or 10 minute speech. Thank you. Okay. Since we don't have a second prepared speech, let's move to the table topic. That's the most exciting part of this meeting, I guess, sometimes. Tonight, table topic master, Maurice.
All right, thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Okay, 7:19, I'll go to at least 7:25 with the table topics. Again, going with the theme, 'tis the season. First question is, what are you looking forward to this Christmas season? And most of us are older and had many Christmases during our lives, but what are you looking forward during this Christmas season? Looking forward to? Olivia.
Good evening, everyone, and our table topics master Maurice. The question that I am answering today is, what am I looking forward to this holiday season? And I hate to go on record saying this because I know we're recording this, but I am really looking forward to being away from my job. Oh, I just really need a break, and I am just looking forward to it. We do have quite a few days that we're going to be paid to be off work, so that's a blessing, and I'm thankful for that. So I'm not having to use any of my vacation time or PTO, what have you, whatever you choose to call it, but just having those scheduled days off where the facility will be closed, no one will be there, so no chance of the phone ring or emails coming in or having to log into the laptop. It's just going to be a glorious time, and I am looking forward to it. So to answer the question in a nutshell, and not seem Leviticus, I will say that I am looking forward to the time off from work. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
All right, thank you. And I'll just go ahead and repeat the question for someone else. What are you looking forward to during this holiday season? Wes. The mute.
Mr. Topics Master, actually, I'm looking forward to giving. When I was younger, of course, kids always enjoy Christmas, enjoy the toys, the festivities. But as I got older, I realized giving is a part of being happy. And when I was younger, there was this saying that, Christmas is what you make of it and so on and so forth. I'm thinking, yeah. But that's absolutely correct. That's absolutely true. You can have a most wonderful Christmas and not receive one material gift. Last Christmas, we were under COVID. I went to Michigan, and all I did, I stopped off at the relative at my cousin's, and I gave gifts. And then I went to a motel room because I didn't want to. The son had COVID. I'm a platelet donor, and I couldn't mingle with the folks. So then Christmas Day, I showed up very briefly at their home, and I had a mask and everything, and I just gave the gifts. I was just going to leave them at the doorstep, but my little cousin wanted me to come in for a while, so I came in. I spent about 20 minutes with the family. They gave me a warm cup of coffee, and that was absolutely precious. It was only 20 minutes with the family, but it was wonderful. It was glorious. Then I went on my way. I went up north and spent some time in a cabin. Then I came back, visited them briefly, still staying in a motel. Then I went back home. But I had a really wonderful Christmas. I enjoy giving. Giving activates a feeling of happiness with me, and I like to be happy. I'm really strange that way. I like to be happy, and that really filled the bill just fine. So I'm thinking this Christmas will be a lot better. We've all had our shots. Everything is looking up. So that is what I enjoy doing, Mr. Topics Master.
All right, thank you, Wes. And that's something I look forward to, the spirit of giving. When I was much younger, for a few years as a little child, I was actually fearful of not receiving anything. And sometimes I think sometimes my parents one or both my parents teased me about not receiving something. And I was actually fearful of not receiving anything for Christmas. But now, I mean, I'm over that, for a long time. But yes, the spirit of giving, it should be brighter during the Christmas season. I will go for one more question. And it is, what was your best Christmas during your entire life that you can remember? Okay, Donovan?
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you, fellow Toastmasters and the table topics master. My question is, throughout my years of being 22, which is my favorite Christmas? Is that right?
Yes, what was your best Christmas during your life?
Okay. So throughout my years, I would say the best Christmas was last Christmas, actually. It was actually kind of beautiful because just like a week or two ago, before Christmas, my sister was giving birth to a baby, to someone named, she was giving birth. And what we did, we decided on Christmas Day is to pack up the car and drove all the way to Chicago that day. And we spent that day just thinking of what a gift it is to have someone who looks up to you, who actually gives you a light to see where you're going, which will help to help your path on wherever you take. And what's kind of funny is that his name is David. His first name is David. We call him Benjamin, but the one thing I would like to end with is that his name is David, and David is the Star of David. The star that kind of led the men go to the baby Jesus instead. It led us to a baby David instead. Thank you. Back to Mr. Topic Master. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for those who participated in Table Topics, and I will conclude Table Topics and turn it back over or relinquish the lectern back to Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Maurice. It was interesting. Christmas questions always interesting. It's timely, seasonal questions, and Christmas is probably best time of the year in America. I also enjoy the Christmas, of course. Enjoy the days off. Also, people really looks happy anyway. So I really like it. One thing I don't like it is the more traffic. It's crazy in all stores. But that's the only downside. Except that, I love Christmas season. Thank you so much, Maurice. Next, evaluation. Tonight, general evaluator is Olivia.
Hello, everyone, again, and Carrie, thank you. I am your general evaluator tonight. And before I give my evaluation of this evening's meeting. I would like to call on all of the Toastmaster members who had a role tonight so we can get your report. If you don't mind, I would like to start with Donovan for our timers report this evening, please.
Yes, thank you, Olivia. Right now, it's still pending. Right now, I have Wes's field speech was at 9 minutes and 54 seconds. For the table topic portion, will be Olivia, your topic was 1 minute and 12 seconds. Wes's table topic was 2 minutes and 18 seconds. And for myself, which my dad took the liberty of timing for me, and my time was 2 minutes and 12 seconds. And I'm still need to time the evaluation portion. And I'll give the final time at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. From there, we will go to our all-counter, grammarian, and hopefully the word of the day. If you don't have that, I do. And I will turn this over to David, please, to give his report.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. I'll start with the grammarian report and the word of the day. I know Wes used levity once, and I believe Olivia used a variation of it. And I didn't pick up anybody else, but I could have missed somebody. Did anybody else use? Moving on, as far as improper use of the English language, I didn't note anything. There was nothing noteworthy. Sometimes when we're speaking, we may do something that may not be technically proper if it was written, but in the way of speaking, especially like in a table topics portion, I think that's okay. So as all counter, I'll start with Wes's speech. I think for the part of the speech where he was reading the transcript, it would be improper to, if there were any filler words, to consider those, because that's part of the story, but I didn't really pick up any, and I did not note any filler words in Wes's speech otherwise either. In Wes's table topic, there was a brief when at one point, very brief and not distracting at all, I noticed. For Olivia's table topic, I did not pick up any filler words. There was one time you did use so, but it was part of the sentence. It was a legitimate use. So can be legitimate or illegitimate depending on how we're using it. If we say so, you know, that's not really cool, but if we use it as part of the sentence, then it's good. And moving on, for Donovan's table topic, I did not pick up really any filler words. You did have some continual sentences where you connected them with and quite a few times. So that's kind of a gray area, but that was the only thing I noticed. And it was clean, completely clean otherwise, as far as I could pick up. And I believe that covers all of the formal speeches and table topics so far this evening. So thank you, and back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you. Thank you for that, David. I will give my evaluation of Wes's pocket speech now. If you want to record that time, Donovan, I'm going to start now. Wes, the title of your speech that I recorded was A Letter from Michael. And it was about a Marine, correct? When I think of just any branch of the military, I just think about the military and being at war, being on the front line, and essentially risking it all and thinking of yourself absolutely last. And so for that, my heart is forever tender to anyone that served in any branch of our military. Your speech, I thought, was very descriptive. I was able to focus in on it. I don't know a lot about the military rankings. Sometimes it all kind of starts to bleed into one another, but I was able to follow everything that you were saying in your speech. I found it to be very descriptive. It was serious though, but captivating. And what I mean by serious, this wasn't, I mean, this was someone's real account. It was a letter that was written. And it just made me, again, just think about the sacrifices that so many men and women have made. If I could think of one thing that you maybe could do better, was just give it a little bit more vocal variety. I did catch some variety in there, especially when you were asking a question. Your pitch did go up a little bit, so good for that, because when your pitch went up, so did my attention span. I was like, oh yeah, that was a question, you know, made me focus, made me pay attention. The time passed very fast. Usually when I think of an 8 to 10 minute speech, I think of, uh-oh, because me, like some others, I sometimes suffer from that attention deficit. And I was thinking, oh man, it's gonna be a long speech and I'm doing the evaluation. Let me pay attention, let me pay attention. But that was not the case at all. I had no problems paying attention. Your speech was awesome, from an interesting from the beginning to the end. I must agree with Carrie that your background is calm and relaxing, and it makes it even easier to focus in on what you were saying. And on another note, when you were talking about the spirit of giving, it's funny that you would mention that and about happiness. On my next broadcast, I will be doing the title will be Happiness is a Choice. And what you're experiencing when you're giving to others is called a helper's high. And it's so true. Most people get that. God knows I do. And it's a lovely feeling to be able to give back, especially to someone that is maybe perhaps less fortunate. It's truly a good feeling. And it does give you a rush. Again, it's called a helper's high. I think your speech was motivating, captivating, intriguing, encouraging. And I was just glad that I was able to hear about it. And I am going to look it up and see, can I listen to that transcript again? And maybe if I missed anything, catch it on the next go round. Thank you very much. And that is it for your evaluation of your pocket speech. Okay, I think I've covered every role. Let's see. I think that's it. Did I miss any roles? No, I don't think so. Okay, Donovan, if you want to give the final time for my evaluation, you can go ahead.
Thank you, Olivia. Your evaluation just now said 3 minutes and 18 seconds. Thank you. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much. Carrie, back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, everyone. As long as we have a no education overview, let's everything all to President Olivia.
All right, no, I don't think we have an education overview tonight, but does anyone else have anything that they would like to add to the meeting?
Yes,
Okay.
I did get in contact with Brandon Anderson and I sent him a link. So apparently he didn't tune in tonight, but hopefully within the next few weeks or so, he'll start tuning in.
Okay. All righty. I thought I had a guest that was going to be on tonight, so I'm going to keep pushing to get guests on here, and I just ask that you do the same so we can continue to, or we can make sure we get back to our distinguished status. So please, each one reach one. Now is a good time. It's the holidays. People are going to be off, and maybe they might want to stop by and check us out one Monday at 6:45. I will send you guys a group text so that we can get prepared for our officers meeting. And Wes, I'll be sure to include you on that group, on that text. And also don't forget our TLI training that's coming up. I think that's about it for me. Does anybody else have anything to discuss before we close out? Oh, Wes, I'm sorry. You're on mute. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I just want to stress the importance of following up on member prospects. It's good that we get these member prospects every now and then, and that always is a certain delight. But it's good to follow up and make sure that we feel that prospective guests prospective members and guests and any of those who show interest are feel welcome to attend our club. I think it's exceedingly important.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah, we have to not only get them to come one time, but hopefully get them to come back until they develop that passion that we all share for Toastmasters, for public speaking, and for leadership, because that's what Toastmasters is all about. I see we have something in the chat. Okay. All right. I think that is it, guys. The time is now 7:40. We're doing pretty good. Unless someone else has anything else, we can go ahead and close out. All righty.
And we can
Have
fill
a great
roles.
Oh, yes, take our roles in. Now, I think Foley's gonna come back next week.
Yeah,
Foley, I think they're gonna be in charge next week. Is that not what the email said? Let me go back and look at it. We can go ahead and fill in some roles, and then if they, I'll just give them our agenda for by Thursday. That was her request to have it by Thursday. So I'll definitely do that. So does anybody have any role they want to take? We do have the agenda. I put it out there for next week, and I think it has Cheyenne giving a speech next week. I know they're not on tonight. Wes?
Well, I'll volunteer to be general evaluator.
Okay.
Maybe a speech, but I won't say anything about that just yet. But I'll be happy to be a general evaluator.
Okay, and I will take on, that is for the 13th. Donovan, did you get that general evaluator for Wes?
But the only thing is, whether Foley takes the brunt of our, if I'm general evaluator, I have a certain evaluation team that I have to contact before the meeting. You know, the timer, the grammarian, and the odd counter, and any evaluators. I have to keep in coordination with them. So if it's our club, it's not a problem. It's on the agenda. But if it's on Foley, I mean, how would the general evaluator know if it's on another club?
I'm going to read the email again from Crystal. Okay. And I have the emails, let's see, for Buck and Buck Norman, and then there was another person.
My apologies. My apologies. I cannot perform as general evaluator next week because I'm hosting the club coaches. The coach training session.
Awesome. So, okay, that's good. That's good. Okay. Well, anybody else want to take on any role for next week's meeting? I will put myself down for a speech, and it will be happiness is a decision. Happiness is a decision. That'll be my speech for next week. Donovan, go ahead.
You can put me down for table topics, please.
Okay. Okay, anybody else just have something that's jumping out at them? If not, don't worry about it. You have a whole 6 days or so. Well, you have until Thursday, and then, if I'm not mistaken, the roles should be already filled out on Easy Speak. So I should have just printed that agenda as well, because I forgot I filled them out through the end of the year, I think. So I'll take a look at that and send that back out to you as well. Let me make myself a note. Resend the current agenda. Okay. That is it for me. Anybody else?
So say congrats for VPE for being on top of the situation and reminding us that we have to fulfill the roles for the next meeting.
Yes, absolutely. We have the best VPE. All right, guys, thank you very much. Have a great evening, and I will be talking to you soon via text message or email very soon.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a good night, y'all. Have a nice
night. Have a good week.
You too. Bye.